Howdy, friends and neighbors. We're going to have a great talk tonight. It is Q&A night here on RGR Football. If you're new to the channel, you're going to enjoy this, I think. We're going to get into it here in just a minute, but off the top, just want to say that any question is available. We're going to get into all subjects. We're going to start with Tyreek Hill and what's going on with the wide receiver group tonight on RGR Football. Well, hey, everybody, we're back.
What's going on?
Hey, it looks familiar, but I know it's a new place. How are you doing?
It is a new place, and I do have to have the temporary setup the same way I used to have it. We've got everything ordered, but since it's all like back ordered, considering everyone's been ordering, furniture left and right, it'll be here like in May, and then I'll be fully set up in my office. So I'm pretty pumped. Finally have internet working.
That's nice. Folks, he's Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. If you're new to us, this is RGR Football. Ryan going rogue, and that's kind of what we do because we're a little bit out there, but we're going to give you our honest assessments on pretty much everything, whether we agree with each other or not. And we're going to start tonight because I've been getting hounded with a ton of questions today, and I just want to straighten a couple of things out. And one is that, yes, the Chiefs are making moves. They're attempting to get things done. A lot of that revolves around creating cap space. And yes, they've gotten a lot of it done, but probably not enough if they'd been able to hit all the free agents that they wanted to, and we'll talk about that in a second. But one of them that they asked to restructure, and that is Tyreek Hill, and he chose not to. There's a lot of back and forth going on about there of what that means for his future with the team and all kinds of that. I just want everybody to take a breath. It doesn't mean anything about his future with the team. If anything, I think it does expedite when they're going to do an extension. And I don't think that was in the cards for this offseason. I was thinking it was next. But certainly if you're not kicking it down the road, it leaves you more leeway. And I think actually for all parties included right now, not having Trent Williams in-house, that actually makes sense. But I want you to hear it from him. This is courtesy of Fox 4 and KC, but this is what he said himself.
You know what, believe this or not, like I ain't gonna give too much details on it. The Chiefs did ask me to restructure, but I mean, me and my family, like we just thought that wasn't the best situation for me, so it is what it is. Like I'm just, like I said, I'm just here to play football, like I just let my family and my agent deal with all that because I feel like if I get into that and then all the fun will be taken out of it for me, so I just want to play ball.
Gotcha. So you just assume not contract?
I just don't get into all that. Once I sign, I'm signed. No, I don't want to get into that no more because it's a hassle.
I can get that, like from a player perspective, especially after back-to-back Super Bowl seasons, right? Long seasons. Like you just need some time to get away and decompress. And I think that's what this is mostly about. Now it's also about, making sure that your next contract is as full as it possibly can be. And kicking money down the road doesn't necessarily help you with that. So I can understand. You're not bothered by this at all, are you, Dan?
I'm not in the slightest. I think this, like you said, it makes sense for him and his family at the time. He talked to his family and his agent about this whole situation. Like it doesn't bother me. The Chiefs aren't going to, they asked him because it was a possibility for them to create more cap space. And you don't have to do that. If you want your money now, you're going to get your money now. So it's, like I said, it doesn't bother me at all. And I don't think that anyone should really, truly be bothered by it just because he's more, like you said, more wanting to get his money now and then later again when they're going to come up for that extension. So,
yeah. And I think it's all going to work out. Now, that said, just wanted to get that out of the way because he is now the elder statesman in the room. He is his wide receiver core. That's why I titled it this. And that's why the thumbnail is what it is, because he's the guy driving the boat. He's not one of the guys in the room anymore. Chris Conley was the guy that when he first came into the league was kind of running things and was like, again, the elder statesman in the room, the guy who knows how to be a pro. And that's what Tyreek is now at this point. And I think this decision just shows that a little bit more. Want to give a couple of shout outs. Canadian Chief, welcome to the memberships. We're going to do something tomorrow night. I think you guys are going to enjoy. If you are the all pros or the elites, we're going to do a Zoom together so you can be on the cameras with us. And that's always a good time. See a ton of friendly faces in here. Nice to see all of you. And we have a super chat already. Thank you, Daryl, as always. Another member. I'm back. So who do you think we should get for left tackle? We'll cover that in a second. Super chats are the way to support the channel. If you guys would like to, feel free. Whatever dollar amount you do, I don't care if it's $1 or $100. make sure you ask a question so we can get you something for it, okay? Because I don't want anybody to feel slighted, especially if you're trying to help us out, because we really do appreciate that. And that is a large part of what we do around here. You help us, we try to help you and give you as much information as we can. So for left tackle, I think there are a number of options. And quite frankly, as things go along, I'm feeling better and better about being at 31. If they chose to go up into like the mid-20s, I think that they might be able to do that and get somebody they specifically want. But I feel like they're going to have a decent option specifically at that position at 31.
I agree with that. And I think there's a guy that I'm coming more comfortable with because, the more I watch of him, the more I see his hand usage is like some of the best in the entire class. And Liam Eichenberg is a guy that I'm now warmed more to of being the guy, even though I do think we talked about his upside, but there's nothing wrong with coming into the league and being like a solid starter for the next 10, 12 years. And he would be the starter. I think he's one of the few guys outside of the top 3 that could come in and be a legitimate day one starter at left tackle. And you're really not going to see much of a downturn in terms of what we're talking about, bringing in like a veteran left tackle and then getting a guy later possibly and developing him. So I think that I'm becoming much more open to the idea of taking a guy like Liam Eichenberg, who like I said, his hand usage is probably among the best in the class. So it's fun to watch him continuously be, just beat good edge rushers. And I think that, yes, what's the word I'm looking for? Just the coming into the league, that process of, there's a word that is just
transitioning.
There you go. The transition from the college level into the NFL will be there, but I think it would be mitigated because not only is he really good with his hands, but he's one of the smarter tackles in the class too. I think that helps.
I'm really glad to hear you come around on him because I've been kind of there as well. And you're right. There is an athletic ceiling that he's probably met already. And so I get where you're coming from, but I agree, like what he does with his blocks themselves, hand fighting certainly, but he also has a pretty good dynamicism about him, about dropping his pad level as well.
Yeah.
Based on what he's getting. And I think that's important. It reminds me, quite frankly, of Mitch Schwartz when he came out. He wasn't an athletic tackle. Like now we are talking about playing left versus right, but today not as stark a difference as when Mitch showed up. So I think they're comfortable there. There are some more athletic types that will be available there as well. And if Eichenberg goes earlier, you're talking about what? Darisaw, you're talking about who else do you like at that spot?
Jenkins. I mean, if there's any possibility that Jenkins falls in this draft, I would even take him over Eichenberg. I think that's the kind of player he's going to be. I don't see Darisaw falling that low, to be honest with you. I think people are going to probably take shots at his upside. But that's really the realm we're talking about. You get Jenkins, probably Eichenberg. I'm not so sure there's going to be any other guys right there that I'd be comfortable taking.
Okay, that's fair. You can't put too much into the mocks, folks, but I will say this. If it's AVT versus any of those guys, it's AVT in a heartbeat as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So let's not get carried away with the mock drafts. And I love that you guys show them to us and you send them to us all the time on Twitter. But just because on those that AVT is falling, Vera Tucker is the best left tackle in this class, in my opinion, right off the bat, that is going to be anywhere close to available for the Chiefs. You can have an argument about him and Sewell, maybe even Slater, but those guys are going to be top 15, and I don't see the Chiefs trading all the way up there.
I don't either. And that's the thing that I was just kind of retweeted it earlier today. Elijah Vera Tucker is like, I know he's been kind of pegged as a transition to interior offensive line because he played guard in 2019, but you flip on his 2020 film at left tackle, you're not going to find much better in this class. So it's impressive what he can do.
Quick shout out, Whippy Brewing up in Boulder. Schwartz beer tonight. It's a little bit dark.
Ooh, a little bit. I think that's really dark.
Like my mood, so that's good. Okay, we're going to get into this. Daryl, thank you for the super chat. I swear we won't take this long to answer every question. I have a hard stop at the hour, or my wife will do something to me that you guys will never see me again. So we're going to be done. Let's see. Jacoby, if the tackles and wide receivers are off the board, including Terrace, would you take Diami at 31? I would not.
No, he's not a top 31 player. I'm more comfortable at 63.
Okay, fair enough. I'm with you there in terms of range. Canadian Chief, again, welcome to the memberships. If Ingram or Houston, if one, was Houston handicapped under Sutton? Yes, he was. And what's your thought, Dan, on who over of them?
So I think that Houston typically fits what they want to do more just because of he's a bit longer than Ingram is. But I think that we're at the point where I think that Ingram could be more effective as a situational pass rusher. I think Houston could be more of a rotational guy. Come in, can also stop the run, give you some in the pass rush, maybe not as much as we've seen in the past. But I think Ingram can be a guy you can bring in situational pass rushes and be a guy that might be able to get double-digit sacks. I truly believe that.
I have a tendency to think so too, and quite frankly, I think Justin Houston and the organization has probably run the length of their relationship at this point. I don't think there's a lot left there. Although I felt the same way about Rodney Hudson, and evidently they were very much interested in bringing him right back. So, you know, as years go by, some things do change. So maybe that has. Although Justin's a lot more recent. Justin's one of my all-time favorite Chiefs. So you're never going to hear me say don't.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't bat an eye if they wanted to bring him back, to be honest with you.
Spicy, would you take Brevin Jordan in the second at 63? I would not.
I can't get behind taking a tight end at the second round when there's actually more pressing needs. I know we're talking about tight end too as a need, but you're going to have to be wide receiver, left tackle. There's center. Like there's more things, more pressing needs you need than a tight end as your second pick.
Absolutely. Cole, what second-tier wide receiver would you replace Sammy with that's almost first tier? And I know who mine is. Go ahead.
There isn't one.
Okay.
There isn't, but it's going to be Byron Pringle, to be honest with you. He's the guy that is probably most likely to have a breakout season, if anybody currently on this team or someone has to come in and learn the system. I think it would be Pringle, or really there's not much else.
Okay, I can see your point. I don't necessarily agree because there's a couple of guys that I like. I'm a fan of Marshall, and if he's there at 31 and they feel that they need the weapon rather than the protection, well, I can get down with that.
They're talking about free agency, so that's different.
Oh no,
talking about free agency.
No, they're talking. I think he's talking about the draft. Cole, you correct me if I'm wrong, but
okay. Well, if we're talking about that, then yeah, Marshall is definitely a guy that I want at 31.
Okay, and I would assume you would say Bateman as well.
I think Bateman. I also think that Nico Collins could do it. There's a handful of guys that, around that point. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a guy, maybe not so much first round, but second round. Damien Brown, second round. I think all could provide upside.
Yeah, I'm with you. Michael, I have not watched any film on Jalen Camp. I'm barely aware of who he is, so I'd have to have a look at that first. John, no news on Ingram yet. I don't think, in fact, right about now is when he was supposed to be getting into Kansas City.
Yeah.
So we don't know anything at this point. Why does everyone think that the top centers will be there in the second round, especially when the Chiefs pick? Because they don't get drafted high. They are centers. They're not positional value. They usually go somewhere between 50 and 80 is the generality.
Pretty much what we've seen.
Yeah. So that's the only reason. And no, they should not take one in the first, period. It's just not a value. You can't use them enough. I mean, if everything else were the same and they had a left tackle and they had a third wide receiver and they were good to go and they had another cornerback that could shut something down, then maybe. But that's so rare. That's why you see them go later. Avery, I like Juju. I'm so happy we didn't sign him. Your thoughts? Yeah, there's a lot of baggage that comes with him. And quite frankly, he runs his best routes out of the slot, and that doesn't help what you already have.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been mad if they brought him in, and obviously they were interested in bringing him in. I personally believe that he can also be used on the outside. We saw it diminish in Pittsburgh, mostly, in my opinion, because of the players that were there. Kind of got delegated to the slot. But I think that you can use him multiple places. He is 6'1", he's 220-ish or 210 or 215, something like that. So you can use him on the outside, much like they like to. So I wouldn't have been mad, and I think that would have been actually a good idea for him if he wants to get that contract next offseason to come into this offense, see a lot of one-on-one coverage, which you probably would get. So that's really kind of my thinking, and I know that we've seen quite a bit of wide receivers not want to come to Kansas City, and I damn dog.
Yeah, it's all right. I think both he and Trent Williams kind of used the Chiefs as a bargaining chip to get more money from where they wanted to be, and that is staying in their team. So, Muhammad, they don't have to introduce concepts of the run and power gap. They run a little bit of power all the time. They pull their guards and they'll come across the formation. They just don't do it very well. So they need the players to improve the execution. The concepts are already built into the offense.
Yeah.
Oh, you got back. Cool. Gooch, no, we would never think of having a stream without you. Glad you're here.
Hi, Gooch.
You guys are so cute. Julian, trade back out of the first and pick up extra picks. I want Jackson Carman from Clemson. It's interesting. I have him as a pretty developmental guy, like low second, third-ish round. How do you feel about him?
I can't say that I know who that is.
Clemson. 79, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen him yet on my evaluation list. Is he center? Is he tackle?
He's a tackle. I think he's pretty young. And Julian, I understand why you say that. And I'm perfectly fine if it is in that, if even at 63, I could live with it, but certainly in the third round, I could live with it and be happy. So I'm with you there. Eric, has someone who has lived in Indy for years, can we stop the TY rumors? Please. Not someone we want. Hey, rock chalk to you as well. We'll definitely be clear by tip-off, I promise. And here's the thing. TY is Sammy in his slider frame. I mean,
he is, but he isn't. Like the thing
I'm just talking about injury and availability.
Well, that's the thing I'm talking about. It's not necessarily the same thing. He gets injured, but he plays through his injuries, so he's ineffective. It's the same, but it's not. So he's on the field, but he's not as effective, and it's clearly hampering him. So I was having that kind of argument discussion earlier on Twitter today about TY. He doesn't move the needle enough for me, especially as someone getting older. I liked the idea of Josh Reynolds because I think that he was not being utilized properly in LA. And I think that there was an option that he could come in and be more of what we saw from Chris Connolly in his last year, that possession receiver for like a third down, stuff like that. He's going to give you some touchdowns here and there. But I wasn't thinking that he was going to come in and be like, 800, 900-yard receiver. That's not at that point what you're going to get. And I think TY is just going to be the same kind of thing, just more deep threat ability.
Well, I put it this way and almost got in a fight today. He was there to replace Demarcus Robinson, not Sammy Watkins in my mind. So, all right. Both of you, Eric and Gooch, thank you both for the super chats. And I think we covered the topic. I'm surprised it wasn't about Alabama, Gooch. Doctor Who, if we don't find a replacement for Fisher, does it increase the odds that Fisher eventually returns? I don't think it increases anything. It's all about whether he's healthy. Yeah. And if they have suitable line play at the time.
We'll see.
Wide receiver market not developing. Does this mean less likely? Sammy is going to Baltimore tomorrow and
Indy the next day, I think.
Indy the next day, and then the Titans and the Texans. So no, Sammy's not going to make it back.
I think this is a pretty obvious that they had their discussion, and now he's going to visit. Says he's not coming back.
Gotcha. Thank you, Aaron. Our fearless mod is in the house. I hadn't seen him before. I'm glad you make it. Let's see. How can I do this? Let me get creative. Okay, now I can tell you. Now if I can get back in focus. Okay, over here is a join button. Just says join. It's a little blue outline. You can just click that bad boy, and you're all set. Here, we'll just for giggles, we'll just do this for a bit.
Ooh, fancy.
Right. Are you worried about the lack of players choosing to play in KC, dude? I would think that talented like ours. I have something. I'm going to comment on that tomorrow morning in the morning vid for you guys, and I did on the podcast as well. You can check that out. How do you feel about this specifically for the receivers?
So this is something I put up on Twitter today because I think that what we're seeing is COVID has kind of changed some things. You're having a down year with the cap. A lot of teams, specifically the Chiefs, and we're seeing with receivers some more of the 1-year deal stuff for guys that want to get paid next offseason because the cap's supposed to rebound next offseason. They want an opportunity to be able to, have an explosion essentially to be able to show they can get paid next offseason. And while, I don't have any facts to back it up, we do know that Andy Reid's offense is notoriously difficult for wide receivers to come in and learn and be productive in their first year. Sammy Watkins was on the field, but he wasn't extremely productive in his first year. We're talking probably around a 500, 600-yard receiver. That's not going to get you paid next offseason. That's just my own thinking.
I'm kind of with you, too. And the next question kind of rolls into that. Thank you, dude. And Kevin, you could entertain it, but in order to trade Hardman, you would have to have somebody to not only replace his snaps, but have the two. And so if it had been Reynolds and Juju, maybe now you have a threesome that you can run with, and then maybe you could entertain that. But in the meantime, they're trying to build it. They're not trying to knock it down. Gooch, you can yell at me all you want tomorrow about whatever the last mock draft, because I don't even remember what it was right now. You got to remember, part of this is trying to not pick the same 8 dudes that I pick every week.
That's like the biggest part about trying to do a mock. Like, I want to get different with my mocks, and like a lot of people, you say, well, what about this guy who was there? Well, I picked him last time. What about this? I just don't want to get the exact same people in my drafts, and that's kind of the same thing I've seen with the NFL mock database mocks.
Mm-hmm.
Every single Chiefs fan does a Tevin Jenkins at 31. Like, that's what tells me that the mock machine needs a little bit of adjusting. If the same player is there every single time, there's something going on. And
I'm glad you say it, because I think the same thing. It's like, and so part of that's it, Gooch. But please feel free to yell at me tomorrow night. We will do the Zoom thing. It'll be a little bit earlier or a little bit shorter, I think, but we'll definitely do it. Okay, good question here. Interesting from Justin. Thank you, Justin. Pick your left tackle. You can have anybody in the league and just grab them onto this roster. What would you do?
Oh man, left tackle. I'd probably take Bakhtiari in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's not even close, to be honest with you. I think he's the best left tackle in the league right now.
See, I would go a little bit younger. I like Ronnie Stanley.
I get it. I got no issues with that. I still think you're going to get a lot of years out of Bakhtiari, and what I've seen from that guy, man, he can do some things.
Josh O'Neill, what do you think about re-signing Dan? I knew that was coming. I think they're comfortable with it, and I think it takes one thing off the plate that they had to go get. If everything falls right, they could still take a draft safety, but I think they're going to feel pretty comfortable as it is.
Yeah. And you know what he talked about Bolton there. I think you may have missed that.
Oh, maybe I did.
Yeah, the Chiefs have had some talks with Bolton, and I know that fans are going to get a little upset about it, but no.
He's talked to 25 teams, you guys. It's not happening. He is exactly who I sound like Dennis Green now. He is exactly who we thought he was. He plays downhill like a Mack truck, and he can't turn and run with nobody. In the league, that don't work. At Missouri, it does, sort of.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. If the Chiefs went running back last year in the first round, linebacker first round this year, I'd be very upset.
Yeah.
Be very upset.
And that's nothing against Mizzou fans. He's a good college linebacker. He's not specifically a Chiefs, but he's not an NFL linebacker, in my opinion.
I just don't think he's a first-round linebacker.
Yeah, not at all. I think he can get drafted, let me tell you that. But I did tweet it out. I ran his numbers today from the pro day. His change of direction skills are outside the top 100 on average of the last 8 seasons. So, yeah, I can tell you that a determining factor, especially for inside or / middle linebackers, is your ability to take a fake, come back at the counter or the end around or whatever you have to do. You have to change direction inside the tackle box. If you can't do that, you can't play. So, anyway, I'm not trying to bash
things. It's not an attack. It's not an attack against Mizzou fans. I promise you it's not.
No, and I'm sorry, and it's not an attack against Bolton either, because the guy makes plays at the college level. That is not it at all. I get tired of people trying to talk me into stuff when it's very clear about what the skill set should be, especially for the Chiefs, and what it is. It just doesn't match. So
yeah, I think sometimes we get kind of caught up with when we watch film. Guys, these are all good players. Like, these are really good players. Like, this isn't like we're watching some high school and we're just like, hey, this is a bad player. This is a bad player. He's not going to make it. Like, these guys got to this point, and Bolton's going to get drafted. I think he's going to go top 100. He's a good player. I just personally, when I watch, and when like you said, when you watch, I see a guy who plays downhill. His head works downhill, but his hips don't lie, guys.
If you guys are frustrated watching Anthony Hitchens try and turn and run, you're going to be really, really disappointed with Bolton. So, and that's all it's about. If this was 20 years ago and they were blitzing linebacker every other play, I'd line them up right next to Micah Parsons, send them both all day long, and be happy. Because he does come downhill that well. Gooch, I think that it's a stretch to sign him myself. I'm not sure he can be fully healthy at all, but I would say he probably does leave with that one. What do you think, Dan?
I think they're going to bring him in. I really do. I think that, one, you're going to probably be able to mitigate a lot of the injury issues that he's had. He's not going to be a full-time player like he was in LA. So you're going to mitigate that. He's going to go get away from the Chargers. So you're going to take away that whole process of their bad luck with injuries. So I think that you're going to be able to get a guy that can come in and give you some snaps here. He's going to play maybe 35% of the snaps, and he's going to get a smaller contract. That's just what I think.
I agree with you. Jake, thank you for the super chat. Gooch, thank you for yours. Guys, I'm going to try to get caught up here a little bit, so I'm going to skip over any of the wide receiver talk for a bit since we've covered a lot of it. But we will address this one, and I'll talk about this a little bit tomorrow as well in tomorrow mornings. I don't think it's a symptom of anything broken down. I think that restructuring was a way for them to get space. Now they don't necessarily need it. And they didn't say whether this was last week or 3 weeks ago when they were still trying to go after Trent Williams, which is what my gut says.
Yeah.
I think it's more about they didn't want to do anything to kibosh the next contract because he is going to get another extension from the Chiefs. It's just that normally you wouldn't negotiate into that until next summer, and I think they're just trying to stay on schedule from Tyreek's point of view.
Yeah, I think that Tyreek wants to play with Patrick Mahomes the rest of his career, guys. I don't think that this has anything to do with him wanting to test free agency.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. Let's see. Metal Rocker, how are you? So she's had interest in Pittsburgh University linebacker in the draft this year. I can't remember his name. Pittsburgh LB. I just looked at their edge rushers, and they have Paris Ford back there. I'd have to take another look, Metal. I'll try to get back there to you, or while Dan's answering the next question, I'll take a look at my list.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list right now, and I can't find a name for it.
Okay. Let's see. So I will research that a little bit for you. I don't recall that. You might be thinking of the strong safety, Hamar, I think his name, or Hamlin is his name, Damar Hamlin, or the free safety is Ford, but yeah, I don't think he's much of a fit. So I'll take a double look for you. DTKC. Not sure if you guys already went over this, but the Chiefs looking to draft someone for the IT spot or draft. Is that LB maybe?
I think that means left tackle.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I can't read. It's just my problem. Yes, they're definitely drafting someone because unless they can somehow I don't know. Can you extort someone into trading you a left tackle? I don't know.
I don't see. A lot of people have talked about Orlando Brown, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it to bed because I don't think that the Ravens are going to help the Chiefs get better in any way, shape, or form. That's just my thing.
Yeah. I mean, you would literally have to have extortion pictures to get that to happen.
Yeah.
There's no way. Those guys in Baltimore, especially if they can add somebody like Sammy, they think they can beat them out and go to the bowl next year.
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking. Mike Daniel, what do you think of Asante Samuel Jr. running 4.44 and Terry running 4.45? I think Samuel is still what he is. He's got shorter arms. He plays the ball aggressively, and I love that to try to make up for that lack of length. But he can be had, and I think he bites on double moves a little too much for my liking. I would take him in the second. I don't think he's a first-round CB. Do you?
I love him in the second round. I love him in the second round. I think that's a great pick.
That's cool.
I really do. And Terry running the 4.4 at his size is just so good. It's so fun. He's
I'll add, it's not a surprise. I mean, it looks like when he finally gets up to that gear, and I do still think that he has to build up a little bit. But I mean,
build up though.
Yeah. But I mean, with the drops in the route tree, he's still a day 3 wide receiver, you guys. I mean, just because he ran well doesn't mean he's all of a sudden in the top 100. So.
No, he's an athletic freak, but his injury issues, his drops and stuff like that will make him a day 3 guy.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you. Josh, I wasn't trying to irritate you. You didn't irritate us at all. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come off like that. It's more towards the way to what do they want to draft more offense or defense? Here's the thing. They want to get to the point where they don't have a preference. Yeah. They want to get the free agency thing to build it up enough that they don't have to pick and just take the best guy they can get. That's what they want.
Unfortunately, there's just too many holes that's not going to happen. I think their biggest worry is offense, especially considering the offensive line issues. I thought that was pretty apparent in free agency. They went out and grabbed Joe Tooney, try to upgrade this offensive line. You bring in Kyle Long. I think that they're going to draft a center. I think they're going to draft a left tackle. So I think that they're going to draft a wide receiver. I think that they're very apparently some needs offensively that they're more worried about than defensively. I think that people get caught up in the fact that, edge is that they think edge is really, really, really important to them for drafting on day 1 and 2. I don't think they're going to take one on day 1 and 2. I think that they are going to do something else, especially to bring in Taco back. If they bring in Melvin Ingram, I don't think that they're going to even be worried about edge that much.
Yeah, I mean, only if they square other things away. Looks like I missed some super chats, so we got to back up a little bit. You guys aren't surprised by this.
I was doing some research with the Pittsburgh guys, and I see a couple guys. No one that's a linebacker. I see an edge, Patrick Jones. You've got Patrick Jones, Rashad Weaver. You've got Jalen Twyman, defensive tackle, and then you, like you said, Ford. So I don't see any linebackers. Excuse me.
And I like Jalen Twyman. I mean,
I don't.
Every time somebody says that, they're like, "You can't take him in the 3rd round." No, I'm not talking about the 3rd round. I'm talking about like the 5th round. But I like him. I think he has potential.
You can pair him with Noddy, and you can have some run stuffers right there.
Oh, he can break down some double teams. I've seen him do it.
What's I mean? Like he's some run stuff. That's what he is right now. He's a run stopper.
Yeah, he is raw as all get out, but I think he has the power to get it done. But that's just me. Gooch, Clowney on a 1-year prove-it deal. No way in sin. Never, ever, 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 ever. No.
Just no thanks.
I'm out on Clowney for the end of time. Finally asked, why not take Landon? Landon is a great player. He's the best center in this draft. He might play 10 games a year.
You never know.
That's my fear. That's my
You
fear.
never know, exactly. That's the same fear people have with Devontae Smith. Like they're afraid he's going to get hurt. So even though he's not, you see in his injury history, there isn't any. He's started every game he's ever played. So you can see where that kind of stuff would really linger in GM's mind. So if they're having worries about Devontae Smith, you can bet your bottom dollar they're having worries about Dickerson.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's my only worry about it. He's a great player. He's the kind of nasty player that I like. The problem is, especially in the 1st round, you can't take a chance on that.
No, you can't.
It's the same thing with Devontae Smith. I understand those GMs, and I know you don't agree. But for me, just because he hasn't been injured in college doesn't mean at 170 pounds he can survive in the league, especially if they're going to try to play man on him. And not as many teams play man as all the time as they used to. But I can understand if you're a guy, especially if you're drafting in the top 10, you're a GM that's not exactly comfortable. So risk is scary.
And you retweeted it. Like I get your financial future is really tied to these top 10 players, especially with a franchise like the Bengals who don't really have opportunities to miss. If you take a guy like Landon Dickerson in wherever it is, let's just project him because he's not going to be a top 10 pick regardless because he's a center, but he's a 1st round player. So just the idea of taking someone with the injury risk or injury history is very off-putting. I can understand it.
Adam, thank you for that. I never knew that. I guess you need to close the live chat before you can see the join button.
Weird.
Sorry, folks. Yeah, I was unaware. Lucas had a good question. Who do you think starts at right tackle in game 1?
It's going to be Mike Reynolds.
Okay. I'll just take Niang just for the hell of it. I think I agree with you, but
yeah, I mean, a lot of people have talked about his contract as a backup contract. His contract is what it is because 1, he's a cheap player. 2, you would plan on transitioning him. So you don't plan on him starting all season, in my opinion. I think you start him and then you let Niang work it in. That's what I think happens.
Yeah, I think Mike's there for the first 8 games. I
agree with that.
I missed one from Nipper Girl. Thank you for this super chat.
Yeah,
appreciate it. I'm sure you'll ask something later on. We'll get it. Chris Jones asked if you think it's possible somehow to get Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette, Melvin Ingram, and Davian, all of them. Why?
I mean, they could, but why exactly?
I'm glad Antonio put it together and was able to keep his mouth shut for a year. That doesn't mean I trust him.
Yeah, but you want to know why he did that? It's Tom Brady.
Exactly. And
he only wanted to play with Tom Brady. Like that was it.
Now Leonard, I'll sign Leonard for a hamburger tomorrow. Back up another.
Be a hamburger.
Yeah, I mean he could back up the other 2 LSU guys that they got on this roster. I'm perfectly happy with
that'd be pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. Just have a backfield of LSU guys.
Dude, you can see it go back in time. I think it'd be kind of fun. And if he's comfortable to being in a committee, I have no problem with it. He actually caught the ball better than I thought he would last year.
Yeah, but he's still just times where it just stone hands. Like it falls out of his hands for no reason.
Who would you like to see the Chiefs sign to help Hill out? Man, I don't even know who's left at this point.
Sign?
Yeah,
Man, I don't
sign
know.
as in free agent.
That's weird. And we have so people lose the fact that Byron Pringle runs a 4.4. He runs a 4.4, guys. So they still
Yeah.
have Hardman who runs a 4.3 and Hill 4.29, whatever it is. They don't need necessarily another speed guy. I know that they want speed, but you also need some route running prowess. You can't just have him run down the field. The Raiders showed you that with Henry Ruggs this year.
Yeah, very true. Let me pull up the free agent list and I'll just take a quick gander. Yeah, I think we're good there.
Adam Humphries is interesting because he's like a slot guy you could just put out there on third down and get catches.
He's like the little pivot dude underneath. I'm totally with you.
I'd be okay with that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an aspect that they don't use, although they run all their pivots with Travis.
Yeah.
So it's in the offense. Why not let somebody quicker and faster get out of those cuts?
Yeah, I don't know. Or run multiple. Have Kelsey do it and Humphries do it.
Right? Yeah, why not? I mean, guys, let's see. By my count, we're somewhere. There's been like 20 plus receivers signed. Chris Conley's available, by the way.
No, he's not. He got signed by the Texans today.
Oh, did he? Okay, they haven't upgraded it on over the cap. Who else? Who else? Yeah, like no one stands out to me left. I mean, Philip Dorsett doesn't interest me. Humphries is out there. He's 28 years old, though. I'll tell you what, I do have a soft spot in my heart for Willie Snead.
That's because he's a tough guy. He always just seems to be around the ball. Like,
yeah,
just makes plays every now and then. I get that, but I would take Humphries over Snead in a heartbeat.
Okay, that's fair. I just wanted to have a Snead with an A and a Snead with an E.
That makes sense. That'd be fun.
Then I can blame everything on the spelling.
Yeah, but see, I would remember last year when I was already calling him Willie Snead. I would actually call him Willie Snead because they're on the same team.
That would be awesome. Mark, thank you for the super chat. Are you worried at all about the Chargers and Herbert in the second year? Nice free agent, especially if they take AVT at 13. 13's pretty high for him.
I don't think it's that high, but I think he's a top 3 tackle in this class. So I think 13 would be fine.
No, I just mean like the way that I think it's going to fall. I don't.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Broncos improved their secondary quite dramatically. I'll give you that. I don't know what Mike Mayock and John Gruden are doing.
The Raiders are going backwards, guys. They're going backwards.
They're making me regret my comments from last offseason. I'll
agree.
tell you that.
I had the same thought. Like, I thought they were in a good position. And then this offseason, they're like, hey, guess what? We saw what you guys said. We're going to go the opposite direction of that.
See, now my question for the Raiders is, like, are they not communicating well? Are they fighting? Or are they both just as crazy? Because I don't get what they're doing.
It's not good.
But yeah, Mike, the Chargers is who I'd worry about. I was a fan of Herbert before the draft. I'm even more of a fan that he adapted that quickly. And if they give him some speed options in that offense, I think he can do some damage. So Chiefs need to get faster at corner as well. Orlando Brown. I've seen a lot of Orlando Brown questions in here, you guys. I think we've done this. Adam, I do like what the Cardinals did. I can't run down all the specifics of it because I just didn't keep up that much. Nathan, what at-risk player do you see the Chiefs drafting? At risk, I don't know. I really can't see them drafting one.
I've heard some things about Smith Marset out of Iowa, and his background maybe having some off-field things, and he's an athletic freak who is also a very fast wide receiver. So I maybe taking a shot, fifth round-ish. That's just the only thing that pops to my head because that's the only thing I've seen about guys with checkered histories or whatnot.
Gotcha. Daryl, thank you for the super chat. As always, appreciate the support, buddy. There's an interesting question here. Grab Isaiah Wilson, not in a world where everything goes the way you want it. No. No, I mean,
it was with the Dolphins for like 5 days.
He got a new lease on life and didn't bother to show up to his first meeting with his new team on time. No, that's
not until he gets his life sorted out.
Not today. Adam, thank you as always. Up in Canada, hope you're doing well. Why is no one talking about Golden Tate?
Because he's like 37.
I thought he signed somewhere too. Am I wrong?
No, he's a free agent.
Okay. I thought somebody brought him back though. So yeah, I mean, because he left Russ and he kind of went, nah.
He was okay with Stafford, okay, and then he went to the Giants, and I mean, he was nothing.
It was pretty poor.
I mean, he's just getting older. I think the Chiefs need to get a little bit younger.
Yeah, I'm with you. Oh, hit the wrong one. Avery asked, if it's day 3, would you rather have Damar Hamlin, the Pitt safety, or Caden Stearns?
I think Stearns.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Stearns, I think, is more applicable to playing that kind of versatility role, whereas I think Hamlin is an in-the-box guy only. And we all know how much Spags listens to me about who should be in the box and who shouldn't. So why would I set myself up for disappointment?
That is what we do.
Am I being too pessimistic when I say that I feel Veach's free agency so far has left a lot to be desired? I don't feel that way at all. I feel like both the big names, Schuster and Williams, kind of set them up to be the bargaining chips so they could go back where they wanted to go. And I give him credit for a team that doesn't have cap space, that you're doing all these things. He's shooting for the fences. I like what they're doing, whether they hit home runs every time or not.
You're not even hearing about all the guys they've been in on. I guarantee you that.
Right.
Like they're probably doing a bunch of stuff behind the scenes. So there's one thing in free agency you can't count. There's actually 2 things you can't account for: the 31 other teams in the NFL and a player's mind. There's nothing you can do if a player does not want to be where you want him to be. Like if they don't want to play in Kansas City, you can't make them want to play in Kansas City.
Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is. Let's see. A lot of double questions just for the record. Gene, Justin's one of my favorite players. I don't think the team and he get along at this point. I don't think there's enough love left. Mike, we talked about Asante Samuel. We both think he's a second rounder. Question. Okay. I just want to make sure. It looked like it got repeated. I want to make sure. Cole, what happens if we happen to get Alex Leatherwood? Could he play left tackle?
I mean, he was their left tackle last year, so
he was guarding 19, right? Is that what it was?
I think so. So yes and no. The thing about Alex Leatherwood for me is that he can get beat on his outside shoulder very quickly and very easily. If you can get inside of him, he's better athletically to recover from that. But he doesn't have the speed to get back on his outside shoulder, his left shoulder. And he's also got contact strength concerns. That's why they want to push him inside and kind of help build him up a little bit more with his strength and get him to play against, yes, obviously more stronger defensive tackles. But if you can put him at guard and bulk him up a little bit, he'll be a little bit better because he's athletic. So,
yeah. And honestly, I would like to see him get a redshirt year. I think he can be a left tackle.
I agree.
He gets a year to learn.
Yeah, that's the problem is if you're selecting him and you're plugging him in a left tackle, that's going to be it's going to be Mike Bremer as a left tackle last year. He's going to be a sieve.
Yeah. DD, Dad will tell you his Twitter because I'll screw it up.
You actually have been pretty good at it. Like,
I don't want to jinx it.
I know. But you guys can all find me on Twitter at D_Harms19. I'm finally back with my internet up. I'm going to be throwing clips up left and right. So I got to tell you right now, I'm watching Trey Smith from Tennessee, and I am very underwhelmed.
In a different system, he's going to be great.
I mean, the guy he moves like he has cement in his cleats.
Yeah. Well, hey, not everybody can be a dancing bear.
Yeah, well, I get it. He's definitely a power guy.
Yeah, he's definitely a power guy. Kid, no, Melvin Ingram and Justin Houston could not rotate snaps. They would demand way too much money to try and do that.
Unfortunately, I would love it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 1-2 punch from, Guardians of the Galaxy. I was trying to irritate. Okay, we must be getting doubles, or my chat stream is all screwed up. So, okay, there's something. Yeah, it must be just host. I'm sorry, you guys. Here's something that Dan will love. You take this one.
No, I can't do it, guys. I think he's got all the talent in the world, but he is inexplicably, he will just get absolutely tossed down the middle of the field. Like he just gets run out of gaps out of nowhere. And I don't think the Chiefs want to take a defensive tackle at 31. I know I've done a mock once with Levi Onwuzurike at 31. I think he's more versatile. Personally, I think he kind of represents what Chris Jones does. He can play on the outside too. Barmore I was very underwhelmed with Barmore. So for me, it's a no, but I also don't think that the need really replicates the value you have at 31. You're going to be able to get other players there that you actually need, not defensive tackles.
I'm with you. We did miss a big chunk of Super Chat, so I'm going to go back. We're just going to do these.
All right, let's go.
almost said something incorrect. So, let me get rid of this one, get it off the screen. Okay, so it's been a while. Thank you, Big Test. It's nice to hear from you. He wants to know, is it more likely to sign a veteran for wide receiver 2 or draft one?
For wide receiver 2, I think that they're going to have to bring somebody in. I don't think you're going to be able to take a wide receiver in the first round or second round and have him come in and be a wide receiver 2 in this offense. It's not been something that typically happens under Andy Reid.
Yeah, it certainly does not. And I think I'll give you the third option. I think it's more like the Byron Pringle really is the 2 when the season starts.
I agree with that, and I'm okay with it. And I know that a lot of fans aren't okay with it, but the way that I see this working out is if they actually work to get Mahomes through his reads and not just go to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce like the predominant most of the time, you're going to find that Byron Pringle's open.
Yeah, I'm with you. Gooch said, done in an hour. Not if my super chat button still works. Thanks, Gooch. Dara Miller said, hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Dara. Got Justin's right. Asked about T.Y. or Melvin. Let's see. Kyle Mitchell asked, how bad did Deshaun what's going on with Deshaun is what he's asking.
Oh man, I don't know about that one. That's a loaded question, guys.
When it started, I was very suspect that it seemed like it was somebody trying to reduce his trade value in order to keep him in Houston.
Yeah.
As every day goes by, I'm having less trouble sticking with that one. Michael gave us another one. I know he's got questions, but thank you, Michael. Gooch, Schwartz re-signed at a cheaper rate when healthy. I would love that, but Gooch, I got to tell you, I don't think he's going to be healthy.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think that there's clearly some wiggle with the organization. They let him go. I think he was talking to himself, his family, and the organization about possibly retiring. So they said, look, let's go ahead. You thinking about it, you go ahead and maybe take the year off. Think about what you want to do. We'll cut you. If you want to come back, you can come back. I think it's going to be that or it's going to be retirement. That's what I personally believe.
Okay. I would love that. I think that allows everybody to kind of get done what they need to get done. So, Jake, you give us a super chat. Thank you very much. And he said, just hit the thumbs up. I appreciate that. That does help us. And then we got some that I actually saw. That's good. We got that one and that one and that one. Got that one. Got that one. Oh, okay. Douglas Dowdell, thank you for joining. And the super chat. Mike Strachan. Is he on your radar, the wide receiver from Charleston? He is not. I have not seen him.
Yeah, the wide receiver class is so deep that if you find someone who's from a lesser known school that you like or things like that, chances are I have not gotten to see them.
But keep putting them in the comments and throw them at us on Twitter so we're aware. You know, we're going to be grinding right down to the end this year, you guys, because 22 has been really hard to find. So we'll keep working at it though. Tatum asked, and thank you, $10 from Tatum. Appreciate that. His question is, will Terrace Marshall be available at 31? Do you think so?
I do. I do think he's going to be there. I think that the way that this worked out really for them is that he was the fourth option in 2019 on a really, really good team. That entire team was gone. They had bad quarterback play, in and out quarterbacks. And yes, he was still kind of productive, and you can see some of the things that he did very well. And I think that hid him from the top grade wide receivers in this draft. So I think that there's a very good shot that he's there. And if Rashad Bateman's taken in like the top 15, then no, probably not going to happen.
I tend to think that it's going to be the top 3 and the top 15. And then somebody in the early 20s is my guess. And if that's Bateman, then you might still have a chance. If Bateman goes earlier than that, he might not be. Gooch, the whole question from Michael Juden about Liam with the first and Landon with the second. That's really hard to say. I don't know where the Chiefs are going to grade out. In fact, until Landon Dickerson goes back for his medicals in April, I don't know where they're going to have him. And I will tell you this, that they are very specific about their medicals. So if they feel that there is a question, they'll put him in the 60s. And if that happens and there's somebody that's got a higher grade, they will take the higher grade.
Yeah, I really think that they're going to bring in a veteran left tackle unless that they really feel comfortable of waiting it out, waiting the left tackle game in the draft. Because the thing is, if you get to 31 and Alex Leatherwood, Dylan Radins are your best options at left tackle, guess what's going to happen? You're not taking them.
Right.
And then you're going to have to go into the second, third round. I think that there's some really good value there, to be honest with you, but you're also going to have to get a veteran left tackle if you're going to do that. So I think regardless, they kind of have to bring one in at some point to be prepared for the opportunity that there's no one there at 31 that they can actually take.
Yeah, that's fair. Sean asked about Villanueva. What are your thoughts?
Okay.
Yeah. Stopgap.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Daryl, thank you for the super chat. Do you think Veach will find a linebacker like number 58? There is no such thing, bro.
They don't make them like that anymore.
There's only one DT and there's only one, DT minus, which is Von Miller. And that's it. There are guys that want to be them. I haven't seen anybody out there since Vaughn. I mean, he if there was somebody out there, we'd know because he'd be right behind Vaughn in leading sacks in the last 8 seasons. So, let's see who else. Thank you guys for all the super chats. For those of you asking questions that aren't super chatting, I'm trying to get to you too. I just got to make sure that folks that are donating get what they deserve. Cole, speaking of the Broncos, any word on whether Lindsey is signing with us?
He's a Texan.
Did he sign? Okay, yeah. I never heard a peep about him coming here from anybody other than fans wanting it. So
yeah,
that's hard to do. Mac, let's see if we can get 2 of Elijah Moore, Diami Brown, or Tamari Terry in the draft. I think we'll be fine at wide receiver. Also, Ryder at center plus Nueva at left tackle. Oof. It's kind of scary, but it could work out that way. I don't know.
I think that's kind of what we're going to see, to be honest with you. I think that they're going to bring a left tackle in. They're going to draft a left tackle. There's clearly the offers on the table for Ryder. The fact that he's still considering it, which is kind of funny to me,
right,
is kind of telling that he thinks they're going in a different direction regardless. So I think that they offered him backup center money because that's what he is. Let's be honest.
Yep.
He's a backup, and he's not very comfortable taking that. But guess what? His market suggests he's not getting paid anywhere else.
You are what you are on film, man. At the end of the day.
Oh, by the way, guys, I turned on the first quarter of the Ravens film with oh my goodness, the Ravens just ate him alive.
Panic ensued,
and I want people to understand that.
Thank you, Canadian Chief. Thank you, Daryl Miller. I swear you're going to ask a question one of these moments.
Maybe you might not.
Mac asked another one. I also love that Veach has been swinging for the fences in free agency. You need to stay aggressive and be a winner now and in the future. I agree with you. You can't get him if you don't go after him.
Exactly. And there's nothing you can do. Like I said, is if they want to stay somewhere and use you as a bargaining chip, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. And hey, players got to use all the tools available to them as well. I don't hold it against them either.
Nope. You can get paid. You get paid.
Michael, thank you again. Oh, and here's your question right below. There, now I got this. What about trading for N'Keal Harry, who may have gotten a bad rap from the Chiefs locker room for such a fresh start? No.
So N'Keal Harry is like a slower Chris Connolly. It's like
he doesn't jump as well. He doesn't run as fast.
No, I feel like we've talked a lot about comparing guys to Chris Connolly. But when you're not as athletic in terms of your change of direction, that's just kind of what you are. And I don't see much on film from Harry to say that he's going to be any better than he's been in New England.
Yeah, and quite frankly, if anyone was going to get it out of him, it probably would have been them. Because I don't know that anyone's going to be as patient. Bill doesn't select wide receivers. And he was kind of invested in doing that. So I think it would have happened if it was going.
He's just bad at drafting, period. So, I mean, outside of offensive line, that's the only thing he can actually draft.
Chief said that they are allowing 100% into games this year. And will you be attaining Daryl? I did not see that announcement. If that's true, that's incredible. I would have thought we would have seen that league wide though, because I thought
so too.
Yeah. I will double check that, but that would be great. And if I am vaccinated like I plan to be, then I will plan to make a trip to St. Joe and be at camp again. That is my plan.
I should be there as well.
Nice.
I mean, that we can go.
We will coordinate. Let's see. Don H, thank you for the super chat. What's up with Melvin? We don't know. They should be having dinner at probably, for those of you that are in town, I would be checking out Jack Stack right now. I would be checking out
Q39. Q39. They go to talk to people. So yeah. I would probably start there.
Yeah. So if you're around, I mean, just
Just pop in.
just head on out, sit at the bar, see who you can run into. Do a little, circles around the dining room, just see what happens. Gooch, what do you got? Just heard they're finalizing a 1 year with Dan. Yep, that I believe is done by now. Should be good. Sean, I'm not huge on him, but I mean, he's one of the guys with experience that they can probably get something done with.
Yeah.
Avery, thoughts on Carmen? We talked about him a little while ago. I'm not sure if you saw that or if I'm just super behind on the chat. Developmental guy. I would like to see him get a redshirt year, but I think he can develop as well. Let's see. Tyler Kaiser and Blake Bell as TEs. Does Vicha wait until next year to upgrade the room? I hope not. I'm really not happy with the progress of that position.
But the problem is that it's been like that for years. It's been like that. This is what they do. They have Kaiser now. They brought Bell back. They've got Fortson. I don't think that they're going to take a stab at tight end until day 3.
It is not a priority. I will tell you
they don't
that.
care.
They keep saying they want to add weapons. It just isn't a tight end. Andrew, thank you for the super chat. If I can put it up there. I noticed Chris Sims had Diami Brown as his number 3 receiver. Would you spend a first round pick? No.
I love him, but I don't think he's a first round player. Like, okay. I really think that he's going to be he's personally my dark horse to have one of the better seasons out of all the draft picks. I think he and Terrence Marshall are my 2 dark horses to come out having the best seasons out of everybody. But that's just how it is. I would take him in the second, no earlier.
Now, I haven't broken them down like you have. I have not done their specific film, but just from watching other players. Like, I would think the guy that has the better chance to stand alone if he is forced into a wide receiver 2 role is Marshall.
Yeah.
Like, I feel Brown has to have a more significant threat on the other side from him.
I don't think so. They didn't necessarily have someone on the other side. I mean, they have a good receiver on the other side, but not like a threat. Diami Brown was the 1-1-1 receiver in that offense. Like, he was. And the problem is, like, they just ran, like, it was basically an air raid. They just threw it up.
Yeah.
Just throw it downfield, go get it. And he's very good at doing that too.
Does that sound like the Chiefs at all?
Well, I'm not talking about that so much. He does have the short area quickness, but it's not so much like going to get it. He creates separation downfield.
Yeah, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day. Jimmy, if the draft was tomorrow, who would you take at left tackle?
Liam Eichenberg.
I mean, if I had my choice, it'd be ABT, but Eichenberg would probably be my number 2 right now.
Yeah, choice, it is ABT, but where I see them at 31, I think it's going to be Eichenberg. And like I said, I've come around like very much on him. I thought he was a good player anyway, but like I've grown more comfortable with him like being the starting left tackle going into next year.
Yeah. And I got to say, Darisaw has grown on me a little bit too. I've just, again, watching other teams play them, I've seen a little bit. We'll get to the cross-checking someday if I ever finish all the other things that I'm doing. So,
Dude's so big.
Let's see.
So well.
Yeah, I know, right? It's impressive. And not as an exception. Like, it's consistent. And that's what I didn't expect, to tell you the truth. Cody, any chance Casey takes a speed rusher like Perkins or Aziz Ojulari? I don't think Ojulari will be available to them. Perkins will be, but Spags wants somebody that can hold the edge and that can collapse the pocket, not necessarily somebody who can run around it.
Exactly. And I don't think Perkins can offer you that. I think Ojulari is actually a very good run defender. Chances that he's at 31, I think, are slim, but I also don't think they're going to take an edge at 31, even if he is there.
Yeah. I think if they have their choice, if they have the same grade on the board, 2 guys, one's on offense, one's on defense, they're going offense. Just going to be what it is. Your thought on Okung?
Again, like these stopgap tackles, yes. Okay. Like, it is what it is. I think they're going to have to bring one of them in, whether it's Okung, whether it's Villanueva, whether it's Turner. Like, it's going to be somebody.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Or Wagner, not Turner. Sorry.
Brian wants to know, who do you think starts at center week 1?
Ooh, that's a very loaded question right there. That's really tough, actually. Because I don't know what their plan is. I would assume Allegretti the way that their plan is now, but I don't know. Like, that's the shot in the dark that I've got is Allegretti.
My shot in the dark is it's Tooney. I think they might move him in there.
I hope not.
Yeah, it's probably not best.
The thing is, if you're going to move him in there and have Allegretti play left guard, you may as well just flip-flop it, in my opinion. You're going to get better out of Tooney at guard than you are going to get him at center and Allegretti at guard. I think that your best option is to play him at guard and have Allegretti do something at center, because I think that that's kind of what it is, unless they bring Ryder back.
Yeah. Okay. Shaw, or no, who said that? Steve. What D has the best motor in the draft? Do you mean like relentlessness, or who has the best get off?
Probably, I think he's talking about relentlessness.
Okay. Do you have an opinion?
I haven't done a whole lot yet.
Okay, I haven't done everybody either. Ozlari's good, but I will say that the guy that stood out to me in that way was Phillips.
Yeah, I think that makes sense from what I've seen about, heard about him and the guy that Texas, Osai.
Mm-hmm. Although Osai versus Jenkins is going to make you think twice about that.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about him actually getting better at it. I think that he got lunch eaten by Jenkins pretty regularly in that game.
Yeah. Like he's one of the guys on the edge group that I think might fall. That I just don't believe the hype. Do you expect the NBA company to try to establish the run game more this season based on the free agent guard signings? I would love that, but they'll just disappoint me.
Yeah, that's what they do.
That's what they do. Good point, though, Marshall. And Marshall's got another one. Thank you for both super chats. Do you think Osemele makes it back? If he does, what's our starting O-line look like? I think if he was going to, he would have. And if it did, he would slot in there, and Tooney would definitely be the center, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's exactly how I see it. I think that's actually kind of fun that way, because you're going to help. A veteran can help out Tooney at center and vice versa. So that'd be fun. Yeah,
and we can put all this Kyle Long to tackle stuff aside, and then you might have the best 3 interior linemen in the league. I'll take that all day long, 18 times on Sundays. Ono, glad to see you, man. Got to say this free period has been super disappointing. Signed players we waived last year, swinging and missing. I get it. That's all right. They're just going to keep swinging. Eventually, they're going to hit them. And honestly, this is all stopgap. Everything in free agency is stopgap. You don't build your team that way. So take it with a have a beer. It's going to be okay. Worry about the draft. That's where it's going to happen. Is there a running back in the draft that you think we can get? There's thousands of them.
There's literally tons of running backs in this draft. And if they pick one, it'll be on day 3, and it'll probably be 6th, 7th round.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you the guys down there.
Shit, Avery. Thank you, Avery. I appreciate that. She's going to start getting frosty here. I will start wrapping this up. Going to run through. There's a couple more super chats, and then we'll get going before she bursts in here, and you guys have to watch.
Avery, that could have been bad.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. Dang, I get talking too much. Michael, thank you again, as always. How about trade for Tyler Lockett? Nah.
I'd be okay with it.
Anything you got to give up makes me nervous.
I'm okay with it. He's a proven player.
He's a proven player, that's for sure. Gooch, are you trying to rush off? Yeah, I got a family thing there, Gooch.
Got a thing, man.
She's not a doctor, but in my house she might as well be, because she makes the rules. So at the end of the day, I can either sleep by myself or I can, do what she asks. So that's where we're going. Julian, would you rather have Okung or Villanueva? I think Villanueva is in better shape.
I'd have Okung over Villanueva personally.
Yeah. Okay. Speedy, why haven't you mentioned Rondale more? Because he can't stay healthy, and I don't know what his role's really going to be.
I mean, they have a slot receiver.
Yeah.
I don't think Rondale's going to be anything outside of a slot or a gimmick receiver in the NFL.
Right. I'm glad the button still works for you, Gooch. We're all here to make sure that you're happy.
That's so jacked up.
And Stevie's like, don't
exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Stevie.
Yeah. Okay. We're rolling. We're rolling. Glad you're here, Gooch. You do make this stuff fun. How is everybody feeling about the CB fallout or layout?
If they bring in Williams, I'll be pretty happy.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad to hear that. Let's see who else. We're going to finish this up here, you guys. Let's see. That's about. Oh, I like that. Avery, I don't mind him at all.
I don't mind that at all, especially in the day 3. I got no issues.
Absolutely. I feel terrible for him because he could have been a day 1 player last year and elected to go home or go back to school. I mean, I think somebody might have taken him. I don't know. But certainly he would have been in the top 100, and now he might be in the 5th round. I don't know.
What happens when you're a straight line player?
Yeah, exactly. You need that one cut and go. He's got to be in his own system. There's nothing else for him.
No, there isn't.
Let's see. Chiefs Knicks fan, welcome back. Still waiting for some center help in left tackle. You and me both, man.
Yep. So is Patrick Mahomes, guys.
Yeah, like Patrick can't bring himself to type out words. He's just throwing emojis. I don't blame
just
him.
his team losing in the national in the tournament, man. That's all it was.
I have these visions of his phone, like, the text app on his phone where it's just like, come on, Veach. Come on, Veach. Come on, Veach. You know what I mean? Like,
that'd be funny.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate all your help as always. John, will the spirit of Danny and the Miracles carry this? Dude, I would love that. I don't know. I didn't think McCormick looked super spry the other night, so let's see what happens tonight. I'm going to be watching it. I hope you guys are too. Rock chalk.
As long as they don't play like a Big Ten team, it won't matter. They should be okay.
Right? Everything's going to be okay then. Jalen Darden, Speedy, I have not looked at his film yet. I try not to.
That guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. You guys have heard me select Schwartz multiple times in these mock drafts. He's a replacement for Hardman. He's not anything else. He can't be a 2. He would be a 4th receiver that maybe you line up in the slot on the other side.
Yeah.
That's it. Mark, we're waiting on that. Hopefully he gets an extension soon. I think that will help them. And Daryl, thank you. You are the last official super chat, and I made it out alive. She hasn't broken down the door, so thank you guys very much. Hopefully she doesn't watch this on replay either, so that'll be nice. Dan, I'm glad that you're settled in. Welcome home, and I'm glad you made it.
Thank you. It's been kind of chore, but we're here.
Yeah, right. Well, my best to your family and my best to all of you guys. I'll have something quick for you in the morning, and then we'll get into the normal stuff this week. Thank you all for watching. It's been banging lately, and it's going to keep rolling. So we'll have something new to tell you. Yep. You guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you next time.